What is going on, people? I am here for, if you couldn't tell by the title, actually 2 reviews. It's going to be a double review because it's a little bit different. They're actually for 2 documentaries, totally different from each other, but 2 subjects that, I enjoyed throughout my movie watching and TV watching, which I'll get into. But they're 2 different documentaries. One you can find on YouTube right now, and then one you can find on, if you have Amazon Prime, you can rent it. I think it was like $4.99. I believe that one is supposedly coming out with a with some physical media at some point in time, but I'm not 100% sure. But the first one, if you couldn't tell by the title, it's a documentary about Steve-O. It's called No Pain in Vain. It's directed by Flavio. Now, hopefully I'm going to get it right because I'm horrible with names, but Flavio De Feo. Hopefully I said that right. But pretty much what it is, it's a documentary about Steve-O. It's brought up, his life before Jackass and all that stuff. You learn about, his how he was brought, stuff that I didn't know. He was brought up with a family that was wealthy and all that stuff, but his family had problems. Like his mother was an alcoholic who all her family was pretty much, bad into that, and there was suicides and stuff like that, and bad alcoholism. And then the father was a rich, like a businessman kind of deal. So did not know that he went to all these different, high class schools, but that's not what he wanted to go to. And pretty much it's about his life growing up, and then, kind of hitting every peak and valley that you can at one point. Even when he was at his highest, he was still at his lowest kind of deal. Like in Jackass, when it was, its highest views and all that stuff, he as a person wasn't, right in his head, doing all these drugs and all that stuff. When the movies started coming out, what you didn't know too. I eventually learned it, not from this documentary, but when Jackass was at the peak of its, run on TV, they weren't making like anything. Like some of these stunts were giving them like $100 a stunt or something like that. You would think they were, multi-millionaires. They weren't making that much off the TV show. The thing that got them bigger money is when you actually had the 3 movies come out and all that stuff. But during, the second one, he was at high, like really into drugs and all that stuff. And then, so pretty much what this documentary is, what happened before, what happened during that peak time, and then what's happening now. So very interesting. Like I said, grew up on it, and it was just one of those things where there was a lot of stuff that I did not know about it. So if you're interested in that, like I said, it is on YouTube right now. I'll leave a link to where you can watch it yourself. But it's No Pain in Vain, The Shocking Life of Steve-O. So I'll leave the link to where you can watch that. Again, it's free of charge. The other movie, the other documentary, should I say, that I watched was actually one that I've heard of for a while because I watch, what's his name, Michael Ray Bauer here on YouTube and all that stuff, and I follow him on Instagram and stuff, and he was talking about doing this, a while ago. So I was excited to watch this because it is pretty much part of my childhood that kind of made me, I don't want to say made me the person I am today, but, I watched a lot of Nickelodeon. It was between Nickelodeon and like Disney cartoons that made my childhood. And then you have, Ninja Turtles sprinkled in there. But the one I'm talking about, it is on Amazon Prime right now. And it's called The Orange Years, this Nickelodeon story. It was written and directed by Scott Barber and Adam Sweeney. It stars a whole bunch of people. Like I said, it stars people from beforehand, like once Nickelodeon really first started going, you can't do that on television. So it had a few actors and actresses from that. Then it got into like the 90s, which, I started watching with like Hey Dude and what do you want to call it? Salute You shorts and the cartoons that went in there. So like I said, it has Michael Ray Bauer. It's got Keenan and Kel. It's got who else? Lori Beth Dinberg's in it, talking about that. So you got a whole bunch of people from each era, I guess you want to call it. Like I said, in the beginning it had like Mark Summers talking about Double Dare and, you know, the stuff that happened there and how it first started. It was more literally all it was geared towards kids, like young kids. Like we're talking like, you know, from 3 to 5 or 3 to 7 or whatever they said. One of those, that's all it was. And then it evolved into what it was. You know, they had the Nickelodeon Studios in Florida, and then how that was huge at one point in time, and now it's shut down. But it's pretty cool. And then it evolved into, you know, the 2000s, so it had like Drake Bell and stuff talking about the TV shows at them, you know, at that point in time. But it's one of those things where, like I said, I grew up on Nickelodeon, so it was one of those things, learning the behind the scenes and, you know, what it took to make the TV shows. And in the beginning, no one wanted to air anything on that, so I knew a lot of the shows came from like Canada and stuff, Salute Your Shorts and all that. So there was a lot of times where nobody really wanted to put anything on Nickelodeon in the beginning because they didn't expect anything from it. And then it became the global phenomenon that it is now. And then you had all the cartoons and all the TV shows and all that stuff that went into or wanted to be on Nickelodeon. So it was pretty interesting. And like I said, I grew up on that. It was like Disney or Nickelodeon. So, you know, hearing some of the stars of yesteryear and all that stuff talking about it, it was really cool. So it was one that I was you know, waiting for the longest time, and it did not disappoint whatsoever. That right, I think, like I said, it's supposed to get a physical media release. I don't know exactly when, but it is on Amazon Prime right now. I believe it's $4.99 to rent or like $12.99 to own or something like that. I only rented it at that point in time, but like I said, if you're into documentaries and you're into certain things, like I said, the first one, Steve-O, if you're interested in that, free, no pain in vain. And then this one, The Orange Years, if you're into Nickelodeon, this one will not disappoint. So I'll leave the links to each one. I didn't find an IMDb, you know, write-up for No Pain in Vain, but there is one for the Orange Years. So I'll list everything that has to do with both of them in the description, so you can check them both out. But yeah, if you're into documentaries, those two definitely caught my fancy because it was something I grew up with and enjoy. So check out both of them. Like I said, just check the description and you'll see the links for them. But yeah, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this review and you might want to go see them, hit that thumbs up, and of course hit that bell button so you know when I do upload more stuff. Right before this, I unboxed a whole bunch of stuff from Hamilton Book, so check out that unboxing. I also got one movie from Best Buy, so check that out. Check all my other stuff out, and yeah, I don't know, I got a movie I do have to review. I'll talk about it later, but I did get that in the mail today, so I'll be sitting down watching that and giving a review for you. But yeah, hopefully, this kind of, if you were teetering on the fence for either of them or never heard of either of them, check them both out, like I said, because I'm sure there's a bunch of fans of both genres or both ideas, I guess you want to call it. And if you're into documentaries, they both hit home. So Orange Years and No Pain in Vain, check them out. And I guess until next time, I'll see you guys.